Let me take a guess. You've got some 10, 15, maybe even 20 years of experience in a particular industry, maybe two. You've seen the problems that come out of it. You know how to fix it. Maybe you've even gone as far as to or build something with AI. You can talk about this problem for hours. You can talk about the solution you've built for even longer, but you've never once had to find a customer for it. That's it. That's the whole problem. And it's not the idea or the product. There's three ways that this can go wrong, and I've seen it time and time again. And it's even happened to myself over the past 11 or so years of mentoring, of running my own business, being in Japan and Australia, dealing with founders across that stretch of time too. You've had the idea for years, yet you've failed to do anything about it. Or perhaps you have built it, but you're struggling to find people to use it. When it comes to trying to explain it in one sentence, nothing comes out. Or you've spent 30 minutes explaining it over a whole thesis. So it stays an idea, or it continues to stay as a product that no one's really using. But that's also the second problem. AI has made it so easy for both technical and non-technical founders, domain experts if you will, to build. And it's cut hours, days, weeks off that ability to go from nothing to something that people can actually use. And so many more people are building these days. But here's the problem. You've built something, and now finding the customers is the real challenge. Or even if you've been able to find your first few users, turning that into a repeatable process is beyond you. Don't get me wrong, building can feel like progress. It's measurable, satisfying, and no one can tell you you're doing the wrong thing. And I guess that's exactly the trap, and especially when you're using AI to do it, because it'll encourage you to build the next feature. Just swipe your credit card, pay for the next use of tokens, and we'll get your app up and running and ready to be used by the next user. Sounds great in theory, but finding that user is the tough part. Because this is probably the one thing that people don't want to talk about. It's easy to survey, it's easy to research, it's easy to talk about your idea if someone prompts you or asks you. But making that phone call, reaching out to someone even in your inner network can feel like a challenge. Because it can almost feel like coming from that area of where you're considered an expert to starting again. And that is an actual wall. So quickly, just in case you're wondering who I am. My name's Matt. I'm the founder of Global Day Zero, and I've spent 20 years across product, marketing, communications, and sales in tech and finance, and also education. I spent 9 of those years in Tokyo working with companies like McKinsey Consulting, BCG, Morgan Stanley, and Sony. And I've also spent probably the last 10 years working with founders and seeing a lot of different ideas, a lot of industries, a lot of partnerships, and a lot of failures at that too. But as I mentor people on these kind of things, I start to see the same pattern come up over and over again. And that's what we're talking about here today. Because I've been in that space where I've had to ask people these uncomfortable questions. You built something great, but what have you done to actually get it into the market? Or you've got this amazing idea, but what have you done to get it out in front of people? And it sounds pretty boring. Doesn't sound so exciting to do that, especially if you compare it to building. But there's some simple steps you can take to really start to make it easier to get in front of the people that need it most. Starting with a simple sentence to describe what you're doing. And it's not a pitch deck. It's having real conversations with real people and learning how you can describe it in a way that's not only simple to understand, but also resonates with the audience that needs it most. Having 25 conversations at a minimum helps you to identify common patterns and trends with this challenge or with this solution that you're offering. And then you need to ask for money. That's probably the most embarrassing or the most challenging part, because it means that it's then something real. And where does that number 25 come from? I'll be honest with you, it's not science, but it's the minimum number I think you need to have to start seeing those common trends over time. That desire or that need for your solution or not. So here's what this sprint is that I've put together after years of mentoring, doing my own business, working across product, marketing, and sales. It's an 8-week program that will encourage you to have a minimum of 25 conversations with real users about your idea. You'll have your pilot offer live, something that people can actually use, and also meaning something people can pay for as well. They'll be able to say yes, and you'll be able to collect the proof that comes with the outcome that it brings. And of course, it works either way, because that last part is really figuring out, is this a thing or not? And hopefully you're still in a job while you're figuring out if this is something that will work or not. Because that's the whole thing. That's the whole point. If after 8 weeks, people are telling you nobody wants it, then the program has worked. You found out in 2 months as opposed to 2 or 3 years, and you've still got your job and your sanity to rely on to keep going forward. So the method has 3 steps, and it's a loop, not a ladder. First, we look at defining it. You have to come out with an offer. Sure, you've built the product, but what's the offer that comes with that? It's about building or creating that one sentence of who it's for. It's making that core portable so that you can build not only in your initial market, but a second market and beyond. And that last one really matters initially because it's really hard to retrofit or bake in later on, 3 years down the track. Secondly, we look at proving it in the market. This is the 25 conversations at a minimum that we're talking about. It's not a pitch, it's just a real discussion, a real conversation that you have with people like you do every day. You're asking about them, about their life, about what they're going through, and you shut up and listen. And in there's also a kill test, which people are probably too scared to face or confront. And probably more importantly, if these questions are feeling uncomfortable or embarrassing, that's great. It means the conversation's real and it's working. And finally, we're looking for you to sell it, getting a customer, getting a pilot live. And that means money in your bank account. It's not a letter of intent. It's not definitely keen verbal agreement. It's seeing that money live in your account. And so you go around the circle again. The second lap becomes a sharper offer. And then slowly you can turn that into a repeatable sales machine. And notice what isn't in there, build, because it's not a step in this process. You'll probably build something during that 8 weeks, as most people do, or you'll go back to what you've already built and refine it for the market that's going to buy it. But it's deliberately not one of the 3 because as we know, that's the easiest thing now. So here's what it looks like practically. 8 weeks and a bunch of founders all in the same boat as you, going through the same process, people that you can share your experience with, your triumphs and your mistakes, your ups and your downs. There's live sessions weekly, which is everyone coming together and sharing their wins and, of course, their losses, which are learning experiences. And most of those will come from the real conversations that you're having on a daily or weekly basis. And you don't quit your job. And I really want to be clear about that because I know there's a lot of programs that want you to be all in. This is built on purpose with you really keeping that security front of mind while you explore the potential of your idea. And hopefully you're still employed by the end of it too. But of course, if the proof comes back that this idea or this build is real, then you've got a real problem and decision to make, which is a great thing, I think. So some of the things I should say. It's an 8-week program, but if you're going a little bit slower, that's okay. You get access to the group and all the materials for 3 months, including the weekly calls. If after 2 sessions in, you feel like it's not for you, you've done all the work, but you're not getting any value, that's fine. I'll be happy to give your money back, 100%, no questions asked. And let's be honest, the risk really isn't the price tag. It's that your idea continues to sit there for another year, or that your AI or vibe-coded build continues to collect dust when it should be getting real customers, or you really should be pressure testing it with real users. But one thing I want to flag, these programs are not for everyone. If you've got real paying customers, this isn't for you. And if you want someone to build this for you, this is also not for you. And if you're not willing to do the work, especially have a minimum of 25 conversations in those 8 weeks, then again, this is probably not going to work. And I'd rather that you know that up front right now. So if this sounds like you, we've got a simple application below that you can fill out with a couple of questions. It should take 5 minutes max, but it also gives me a clear indication of whether you're ready now or perhaps you're 6 months off. And either way, whatever you decide, the best thing you can do after this is go and have one of those conversations, because you'll learn more from 20 minutes in that discussion than you will for waiting another month or a year for something to happen.